Okay, hello students. Today we're going to do a short video on how to make your own tourniquet. The tourniquet, they go over it in the book, but they really don't show it to you very well. So an improvised tourniquet's everything, every EMT needs to know how to make one. My daughter Lucy's going to help today. She's going to be the patient. I'm going to show you how to do a tourniquet, and I want you to try and practice along with me. So the first thing you're going to need is a long strip of cloth in EMS sheets. You need a long strip of cloth, and you need a windlass, like a pencil or a pen, and for most of us at EMS, a pair of bandage scissors works the best. So those are the only two things you need to make an improvised tourniquet in the field. Now, if you have a cat tourniquet, you can use one of those, but if you run out of them or somebody forgot to restock after the last call, then you may need to improvise one as well. So pause the video for a minute here and go out and get those things that you need. A nice long strip of cloth, a sheet will do, an old sheet, the longer the better, and then something to cut it with and also use as a windlass. So we'll wait for you here a minute. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay, now that you have all your stuff, the way to cut a sheet for a tourniquet is, sheets are rectangles, so they have a long side and they have a short side. This particular sheet, this looks like the long side right here, and I want as much material as I possibly can have, so I want to always cut on the long side. So you make an incision or a cut right here. About that much material, you can see. Lucy, grab that end and pull. And there we have our one long strip of cloth that we need. So, how to make an improvised tourniquet on a patient who's got uncontrollable bleeding. We've tried direct pressure. That doesn't work. We still have a lot of blood. Lucy's going to have a cut on her arm right in here that's bleeding profusely, and I can't stop it with direct pressure. So we want to put our tourniquet about 2 inches away from the site of the wound. Start by finding the middle of your tourniquet. So I hang this over my hand and I find about the midpoint of it right here. And I'm going to place that right across her arm, about 2 inches above the cut between her cut and her heart. So obviously if she has a cut right here, if she has a cut right here, and you put a tourniquet on down here, that's not going to help very much. So we want to put the tourniquet between the wound and between the heart. So the closest joint right around there, and drape it over the arm like this. Next, we're going to take the two tails, bring them around, just like this, and tie a knot, just a simple knot. Next, you need your windlass. In this case, we're using the scissors. We take the scissors, or you could use a piece of wood, you could use just about anything that's rigid and is not going to bend. Place it in the middle, and then tie another knot over top of it. Again, a simple knot. In EMS, form is secondary to function, so it needs to work. It doesn't need to look pretty. Now, once we've done this, we're going to tighten up on the tourniquet and turn it and twist it and twist it. And you twist it until the bleeding stops. Now, even as I'm twisting this a little bit, you can feel it. Pressure on your arm, can't you? Yeah. And I'm not going to tighten this up all the way because I don't want to cut off circulation to her arm. So let's say I've twisted it now to the point where it stopped the bleeding. Obviously, if I let go of it now, turn a little bit this way, if I let go of this now, it's just going to unravel and the bleeding is going to start all over again. So the hardest part about making an improvised tourniquet is taking the ends here, the tails, and tying it off so it won't unwind. So I'll put a little bit of pressure on here, and I'm going to take these ends here. This end I'm just going to wrap around like this. This end here I'm going to wrap around the top of the scissors. And then we're going to bring those around and tie them off. Again, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be functional. It has to stop the bleeding. Those are all the steps you'll need to stop bleeding in case we've got something that can't be controlled otherwise. So you should practice this too on your friends and family members who are sitting around. The best way to learn how to do this is to practice over and over again.